Let's explore Revelation 11:2. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city they shall tread under foot 42 months. City of Jerusalem was trodden down or under the foot of, controlled by Gentiles, till the Israelis took back the holy city in 1967. This would seem to confirm Luke 21:24, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. John wrote this prophecy under a Julian calendar, which for all intents and purposes is the same as the solar calendar of our modern historical record. And there are 30.44 average number of days in a month, times 42 months equals 1,278.5 days. In Job 8:8, we're instructed, "For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers." And when we search those of the former age, we find a language of prophecy of each day for a year. Thielman van Braght, who wrote Martyr's Mirror, 1,203 days, which reckoned according to prophetic language means as many years. Matthew Henry, this number of prophetic days, taking a day for a year. Isaac Newton, 42 months, and in these prophecies, days are put for years. So according to this language of prophecy, if we subtract our 1,278.5 days from 1967, we arrive at 688.5. This is a frequently confirmed date for the founding year of the Dome of the Rock. The founding verses of the Dome of the Rock read, "O you people of the book, overstep not bounds in your religion, and of God speak only the truth. The Messiah Jesus, son of Mary, is only an apostle of God, and his word which he conveyed unto Mary, and a spirit proceeding from him. Believe therefore in God and his apostles, and say not three, it will be better for you. God is only one God. Far be it from his transcendent majesty that he should have a son." Of course, Christians understand from Mark there's only one God. But Christians also understand from John 3:16, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life." In Luke 24:39, we read, "Behold my hands and my feet, it is I myself, handle me and see, for a spirit hath not flesh and bones, as ye see me have," which contradicts the claim that a spirit proceeded from him. Then 1 John 2:22 we read, "Who is a liar but he that denieth that Jesus is the Christ? He is Antichrist that denieth the Father and the Son. Whosoever denieth the Son, the same hath not the Father." So anybody that denies the Son hath not the Father, and is Antichrist. In 2 John 1:9, "Whosoever transgresseth and abideth not in the doctrine of Christ hath not God. He that abideth in the doctrine of Christ, he hath both the Father and the Son." Now, as far as Jewish blindness to the gospel is concerned, this is a separate issue, and it's described as a mystery in Romans chapter 11. So the Dome of the Rock would seem to be God's symbol for the Islamic desolation of Jerusalem. By the early 1800s, the population of Jerusalem was barely 550. The Dome of the Rock is likely the Abomination of Desolation. Exploring this verse further, the Solomonic Temple was built over the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite, and on that bedrock the Ark of the Covenant, or Holy of Holies, was kept. It is obvious that the stone pictured would never have served as a threshing floor, because not only threshing but recovery of grain from its craggy surface would have been nearly impossible. And it would be particularly unreasonable to use that for a threshing floor when just 300 feet away there's a smooth, flat rock. And today, the little gazebo aptly named the Dome of the Tablets or Dome of the Spirits covers a smooth, flat, former threshing floor that was in the Solomonic temple. We can see here that the Eastern Gate Beautiful lines up perfectly with that little Dome of the Tablets, or Dome of the Spirits. So it seems the Dome of the Rock was built in the court that was outside of the Solomonic temple, where even unwashed slaves were allowed, the Solomonic court of the Gentiles. And from our subject verse, the court which is without the temple, that the Lord gave to the Gentiles for 42 months. In other words, it would seem the Dome of the Rock was built over the wrong rock. The following sketch is based on an article, Temple Foundation Located, in the Biblical Archaeology Review of March 1983. Lingering evidence of the foundation of the temple confirms it to have been based on the sacred cubit, which is a span plus a hand. Here we can see the location of the Eastern Gate, or Gate Beautiful, and here is the location of that little Dome of the Tablets, or Dome of the Spirits. And way over here is where the Dome of the Rock is. It's over that craggy rock that would have never served as a threshing floor. Can we confirm John's 42 months problem by uniformly applying this day-year language of prophecy that was so well known to the fathers of those of the former age? First, let's look at the source verses of this language of prophecy. In Ezekiel 4:5, we read, I have laid upon thee the years of their iniquity according to the number of days. The next verse, and thou shalt bear the iniquity of the house of Judah 40 days. I have appointed thee each day for a year. Then in Numbers 14:34, after the number of days in which ye search the land, even 40 days, each day for a year. In Genesis, we find a week of days as years. Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me, yet 7 other years. In Revelation 12:6 we read, and the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. A large consensus agrees that Israel is the woman in this verse. Just a few verses before in the same chapter, we read, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars, and that's for the 12 tribes. Then in verse 5, and she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. This is, of course, Jesus Christ. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne, confirming that, because Jesus Christ was crucified, ascended into heaven, and is seated at the right hand of the Father. So then if we consider that the end of the 1,260 days is when Israel came out of the wilderness, and Ezekiel 20:35 describes the wilderness as people, or when Israel came out from being scattered among the nations, returning home and declaring her independence in 1948, and subtract 1,260 years, each day for a year, we arrive once again at 688 AD, the founding year of the Islamic mosque, the Dome of the Rock, the Abomination of Desolation. It seemed that this structure is God's symbol for the physical and spiritual desolation of Jerusalem through Islamic conquest. We learned in Luke exactly what it is that is desolated by the Abomination of Desolation. When ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. The year 639 is when the Islamic army marched into Jerusalem during the first jihad, beginning this final desolation of Jerusalem. In A History of the Jews, Paul Johnson writes, between 1827 and 1839, largely through British efforts, the population of Jerusalem rose from 550 to 5,500. So we can see there's virtually no history of Jerusalem in the early 1800s because nobody wanted it, not even barely just a few Jews. Please visit beholdthebeast.com to explore much more of the mathematics of prophecy that indicate that we may well indeed be in what Daniel called the time of the end.